It had taken brewmaster Charles Glass more than time to perfect Castle Lager, and he wouldn't compromise the first time it was to travel by rail. So he told the railway chief almost a century ago. Castle Lager would either travel well or not at all. He checked his beer at every stop. The railway chief hungered for the contract. 12 grueling hours later, tension stretched the moment of truth as they waited for the ultimate test. The test of Charles Glass's tongue.
Gentlemen, I am not easily pleased.
It was worth the wait for the thirsty throng. The beer had a taste like no other. Somewhat dry, somewhat bitter, never sweet. And to this day, Castle Lager has the taste that stood the test of time.
At the end of the last century, at Johannesburg Park Station, the brewer, Charles Glass, was about to conduct an experiment. My great-grandfather witnessed the entire episode. When he overheard Mr. Glass asking which carriage would be used to transport his beer, he knew that this was to be no ordinary journey.
Now, sir.
Tell me, where's my wagon?
It's at the rear of the train, sir.
Thank you. Look,
Oh, really?
Mr. Charles Glass has just arrived.
My goodness. What
This way, over here.
Leave this to me. Mr. Charles Glass, I presume.
Yes, that's right, Glass.
Your wagon is over there.
Yes, I know.
You'll see, everything's been arranged. Bring the rest of the merchandise to the wagon, quickly.
Now, Mr. Van Tonder, your company will have ample opportunity to demonstrate its merits. However, I intend to supervise the loading of this beer. That's not for you
Listen,
to concern
I can
yourself
help you.
with. It's my responsibility. Understood?
Oh, all right.
Charles Glass was very particular. His only concern was for his beer, and there was only one way to find out whether the train was a suitable vehicle to carry the beer to the customers who awaited it. It had to be put to the test. So, he intended to travel in the same train to ensure that his beer would not be affected by either the heat or the journey.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Van Tonder was first and foremost a businessman. He knew there was fierce competition from other companies keen to transport the precious liquid. He knew he had to win over Charles Glass.
Look, Mr. Van Tonder, if your train doesn't prove to be a suitable means of transport, rest assured that my beer will never travel by railroad.
But, Mr. Glass, we're both men of the world.
It's no use trying to flatter me or bribe me. It just won't work with me. Let's get that straight.
Charles Glass was deep in discussion with Mr. Van Tonder regarding possible modifications to the train's suspension and refrigeration systems. Halfway through the journey, there was a sudden, unexpected halt. Charles Glass leapt to his feet and, aided by his two assistants, rushed to see that the barrels were unharmed. But the train had only stopped to take on water for the engine.
All right. No. Get back in the carriage.
But
this is
surely...
none of your business.
At sunset, when the train arrived at the little town of Kliprand, it was 3/4 of an hour ahead of schedule. The critical moment had arrived. The ultimate test would be the taste of the beer. Had it been affected by the journey or not?
All right, up you go. No, everything's under control.
The suspense was almost too much for Mr. Van Tonder. Was he going to lose the contract after all? In a few seconds, the verdict would be known. Would the beer pass the final test?
Careful. Don't shake the barrel too much, Leroy. Now, open it. Gentlemen, I'm not easily pleased, but...
Mr. Van Tonder had triumphed. Henceforth, the beer would be carried by his company.
Come on, everybody, have a drink. Try a glass of this excellent beer and enjoy yourselves.
And so ended the adventure witnessed by my great-grandfather, whose story lives on in the annals of the family. Castle Lager, the taste that stood the test of time.